Good evening and welcome to the June 15th meeting of the North Andover Select Board. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. and ask that you stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll now move into public comment. Per the Select Board policy, public comment is not a discussion, debate, or dialogue between citizens and the Select Board. It is a citizen's opportunity to express his or her opinion on issues of town business. The board may respond to public comment by taking it under consideration when deliberating on an agenda item or referring the item to the administration for appropriate action or response. Public comment shall be for a brief period of up to 15 minutes, with speakers being allowed 3 minutes to present their material. Is anybody here for public comment? Okay, just proceed up to the microphone. You're going to go first. And just identify yourself and your address.
Hi, my name is, I don't know if I need this, but it's Nicole Friel. I live at 254 Great Pond Road, and I'm here basically to just inform the Select Board of my disappointment in your decision to grant Marble Ridge Winery an entertainment license. I feel like, well, I don't feel like this is a residential area. It is a residential area. All of the houses are very close together. I can hear conversations occurring in the yard across the street from me. And granting somebody an entertainment license to have outdoor bands with speakers, to me, is a violation of my rights as a property owner and taxpayer in the town of North Andover. I don't know how this decision was arrived at, but from the research I've done, it appears that Brigg has been allowed to circumvent zoning laws in North Andover based on the fact that he was granted certain rights under the Dover Amendment. I don't know if anybody on the Select Board has researched what the Dover Amendment is all about. I really hope you have, given that a large amount of what he's doing is protected by that agreement. But anybody that looks at the outline and basically the rules under the Dover Agreement and knows what Brigg is doing at Marble Ridge Winery would know that he does not satisfy the Dover Amendment requirements. The Dover Amendment requires you to be primarily a farm. You are to plant and harvest agricultural products and use those products to sell. He does not do that. He does not harvest grapes. He has planted a vineyard. Those grapes are not harvested, at least not today. And even if they were, there is no way the amount of grapes that he could harvest from 198 vines could satisfy the requirements under that amendment or under that agreement. I harvest more from my backyard container gardens than he does on that farm. And I know because I live directly across from him. I've never seen those vines harvested. And he has admitted to myself, along with many people who actually go and tour the vineyard, that he gets his grapes and his juice from California. None of it comes from those vines. So to be able to circumvent zoning laws that are in place to protect residents,
Like 10 seconds.
Yep, like myself, it's just not right, and it shouldn't have been allowed to happen. I'm super, super disappointed.
Good evening. My name is Nancy Leland. I live at 270 Great Pond Road, so I'm a direct abutter to the Marble Ridge Winery. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to sort of run through some of the background of what's been going on at the site as far as the town is concerned. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but he was operating without a certificate of occupancy. And so he had to come into the town and be able to get all of his permits. One of those requirements was with the planning board, and he had an approved parking plan that he had agreed to with the town. There were several times when I did have to send pictures into Gene Enright because he was violating his parking plan. And so apparently he was spoken to by the building inspector regarding the parking. But most notably, excuse me, most notably, March 17th, he went in for a public hearing and was requesting an insubstantial change to his parking plan. And that was denied by the planning board because they wanted public input and for us to be notified as abutters. But then on April 16th, he had a private event, and rather than having 15 parking spaces, he had 37 cars out in the field. So he was given a notice of zoning violation by our building inspector. As far as you are concerned, as the select board, I'm not sure if you're aware of some of the issues that he's having with his liquor license, and I brought this to the attention of the town clerk. And he was given a notice regarding, he was advertising BYOB, bring your own booze, and that was on his website. And apparently this is something where he was effectively conducting unlicensed alcohol service. May 22nd, he was also given a notice from our town clerk because he was advertising that he was going to be selling fortified wine. His product was going to be fortified with tequila, bourbon, and/or rum. And so that was, in her letter to him, she said that likely exceeded the scope of the establishment's current licensing authority. So this was brought and referred to town council. So that's the first issue that is town council is now paying attention to. So the question that I have on this is, how do we monitor private events in the future for compliance with the town clerk's letter? I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that. Pardon?
You have 10 seconds.
10 seconds? Okay. Matters still to be resolved. The entertainment license, I guess it's up for review, 6 months. He has yet not had any outdoor entertainment.
The time is
yet.
up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. My name is Mark Bohr. I live at 10 Heath Circle. And I'm bringing a citizen's request to ask you to reconsider the composting program in the schools, to reinstate it in the school's budget for 26-27. And I just had a few points just to make about it. The first thing is that it does save 130,000 pounds per year from going to landfill. And it's material that then can be returned to the soil and to use and to the schools. The second thing is that it's in the category of the right thing to do. The same way that you recycle, this is just something that we should do. We should compost if we can, and I feel like we can. And the third thing is I retired this March, and I've been working as a substitute teacher in the schools. So I've been seeing the kids do this every day at lunch, and I feel that overall it may even be the most important thing in terms of an educational value for them to see how to do it, that it can be done, and that it's important to do, and that our town cares about this. So that value alone is a reason to continue the compost program. And I feel like for the cost of it, I just feel like there should be a way to find it. I know everything adds up and it's a cost. So I also understood that Black Earth was willing to negotiate on the price, and so that could even also play into reducing the price. That's what I heard. So I just feel like this is the right thing to do, and we should find a way to get it back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is anyone else here for public comment? Okay. We're going to head into licensing, so I will take a motion.
Madam Chair, move that we enter licensing.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, handing it over to you.
Items A through D are all the same applicant, but we're going to handle them one at a time. Item A is an application from Julie Oliver for a special one-day wine and malt liquor license for summer concert series events at Stevens Coolidge House and Gardens on Thursday, June 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. Do we have, is Julie here today? Come on. If they're the same general purpose, you can talk about all of them, you know, and then we'll go one by one. But why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about these events and what the license application's for?
Sure. My name's Julie Oliver. I'm the Senior Regional Engagement Manager for all of the North Shore properties at the trustees. So I oversee events and programs, Castle Hill, Cranes Beach, Appleton Farm, Stevens Coolidge, Long Hill, and Marine Farm. This was an event that we used to do a few years ago, and we stopped doing it due to some restructuring of the organization, and it's been our #1 request from the community to bring it back. So this year, we're bringing it back, really focusing on community, have it being a place of gathering for members and non-members of the trustees, North Andover residents, and then really working with local vendors, so having some food and beverage vendors to really, again, just emphasize the community aspect and also working with local musicians.
When was the last year that you held these?
We kind of did a trial pilot run last year to see if there was interest, but other than that, I think we did it 2 or 3 years ago prior to that.
Okay.
Very family friendly. The whole emphasis is really like bring your family, have a picnic, listen to some music, and stroll the gardens.
Okay, thank you.
So in the past, there have been issues with neighbors and noise.
Yes.
So I think it's a great idea, but it would be great if you got in touch with those neighbors and talked to them about it. And, you know, I don't recall like the orientation of speakers or where the music was set up, but
Yeah.
being mindful of that and working with the neighbors would be excellent.
I've been at this property for 7 years, so
You
well
remember
aware.
all of that?
I'm well aware, yes. We specifically place our stage on the opposite direction of the property. We have a decibel reader to make sure that we are within the right sound limits, and then we position our stage so that the music is going away from any neighbors.
Great.
Thanks.
And that's different, that's a different orientation from what had previously been?
Yeah, it's changed locations over the years after the organization or the property did a renovation. We were able to change to our event lawn, but we kind of maneuver the stage so it angles a little differently now. And all the music is going to be more like acoustic,
Okay.
1-2 band
Awesome.
band musicians
For all the events?
for all the events. Mhm.
Awesome.
And Oak and Iron is the vendor for all the events? Is that
Correct. Mhm.
We know them well. Any other questions?
Any other questions? Okay, I'll take a motion.
I'll move approval.
For,
We're doing each.
do you want to
We're
do,
doing
we can do all of them at times.
One at a time, or you can do them collectively?
Yeah.
All right, I'll move approval for all of the requests outlined for the one-day wine and malt liquor license.
For June 20.
June-
wait,
yeah, I'm like,
why don't you say that?
I can do it here. I can take it if you want.
Okay.
I move the Select Board acting as licensed commissioners approve the application from Julie Oliver for a special one-day, 4-day, wine and malt liquor license for summer concert series at Stevens Coolidge House and Gardens on Thursday, June 25th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Thursday, July 9th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Thursday, July 23rd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and Thursday, August 6th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
I'll second.
Okay. First, I have a motion and a second. Sorry, I lost my place. Favorable recommendation from the Police Department, Fire Department, Health Department, and Building Inspector with no conditions. Any other further discussion on the motion?
Appreciate their cognizance of the neighbors.
Yep, definitely, thank you. All right, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item E in licensing is an application from Five Sons Pizza LLC, DBA Five Sons Pizza for a new common vic license at 69 Main Street. Anyone here from Five Sons? Okay, come on up and state your name and tell us about your new business venture, please.
All right, I'm Jennifer Souza. Hi, everybody. Nice to meet you. That's my husband. He's Jen's husband. So So we had Five Sons Pizza in Hamilton, and we recently sold it, and we're bored, and we need to do it again. And
Good for you.
I can't be home anymore. We found this place, we love it, we're excited, we're just gonna have a little Old Town Pizzeria.
How long did you operate in Wenham? Did you say Wenham?
Yes, Hamilton, Wenham,
Hamilton,
for
okay.
6 years.
Okay, great. It's at 69 Main Street. Is that what
Yes,
J&M
it was J&M.
Okay, that's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, it was J&M,
Great.
and we're ready.
Lots of retrofitting, or is it pretty much good to go?
No, we
as-
just
as
had to
it is?
clean. That's it, we're just cleaning and,
Can I
yeah.
give you suggestions for what you should keep on there?
Listen, you're gonna love the food, guys.
We're changing everything.
We're changing
Food, obviously the
everything.
name.
We'll be
Yeah.
in.
Yep,
It's
so
any,
we-
do you have like a specialty, a couple specialty items
do,
that
yeah.
we're big fans?
Yeah, we have like an Uncle Louie sub that everybody loves. It's like a chicken cutlet with fresh mozzarella, roasted red peppers, sun-dried tomatoes, you know the whole thing. Yeah.
But she makes a lot of homemade.
I make everything
She makes
homemade.
arancinis, she makes stuffed peppers, homemade
Meatballs
meatballs.
every
homemade
day.
Sauce, she makes a lot of stuff.
Yeah, every day.
That's great.
Hey, she's
Yeah.
Sicilian, hey, oh.
Yeah. No,
Will you deliver?
we do. We're gonna deliver. Yes, we are. Yep.
Awesome.
We're excited. We like the neighborhood already. It's been a lot of fun the past couple of weeks.
It's a
so.
lot like Hamilton, Wenham out here.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Everybody's been so welcoming, like all the neighbors, and it's nice. It's
Yeah.
nice. We're really
It
excited.
reminds us of Hamilton and Wenham.
Yeah, we miss it already, so I'm like,
Thank you for choosing North Andover.
Yeah,
thank
Yeah,
you.
definitely.
Happy to have
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you.
Thank you.
Any further questions? I'll
Sounds great.
take a motion.
The Select Board acting as licensing commissioners approve the application from Five Sons Pizza LLC, DBA Five Sons Pizza, for a new common vic license at 69 Main Street.
Second.
Okay, any further discussions? The Police Department, Fire Department, Health Department, Building Inspector all have favorable recommendations with no conditions.
Excellent.
Okay.
When are you guys gonna open?
Hopefully the 22nd.
22nd, yeah,
Oh,
we're
okay. Awesome.
supposed to be signing the 22nd, so we'll be open the following day, yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
good for you.
And we do have 5 sons. That's all we
Oh,
say.
yeah, there you go.
Everyone looks at us and like,
Let
wait,
your
you have
stuff.
5 sons? We're like, yes, we do have 5 sons, and yes, they will be working at some point.
Excellent, excellent.
Only a couple of them. The other ones have their own careers now, so that's good. But yes, we do.
Okay, awesome. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Say aye.
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 Awesome,
Thank
thank
you
you
very
guys.
much.
So nice to meet
Welcome,
everybody.
North Andover.
Nice to meet you guys.
Okay. Item F is an application from the Farmhouse LLC for an annual mobile food vendor license. If you could introduce yourself, state your name and address, and tell us about your business.
142 Berry Street in North Andover. So I started, should I start, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I bought a horse trailer. It's a 2-horse trailer. I converted it back in August into a coffee trailer. I got it inspected in November, and that's when I got my permit. At the time, I sent all the paperwork needed. I have the 3-bay sink, the hand wash sink. And at the time when I got my permit, I was told that you can go to public event up to like 4 per year. And I was like, oh, I'm just starting, so I think that's enough. And now, although this is my first year, I'm getting a lot of success, and people want it, and like people at different at the community or like different event would ask me, are you coming to this event or that event? So that's why I reached out again. I figured I need to like update and improve my lenses, I guess, stretch it,
Awesome.
So you
whatever
have-
the right word is.
So you have coffee, what else do you have?
So I have coffee. So it's a regular, make coffee from the coffee machine. So it's hot coffee, iced coffee. I could make hot cocoa, lemonade. I do mocktails, which is, usually I use like the lemonade-based powder with water and then like the syrup, and you just put ice and you mix it and like other different syrup, and sometimes you finish it with like ginger ale or soda water. So like this is basically it. And I do have sometimes the prepackaged food. So I buy from Restaurant Depot. It's individually packaged like blueberry muffin or cookies that people can buy.
Awesome.
Sounds great.
That sounds great. What type of what type of hours do you plan on operating, or events do you
So
plan on?
I have like, sometimes they reach out from the school, from North Andover School or the middle school. They have like different event, or sometimes they want to like do during Teacher Appreciation Week. They just want to be there and like serve coffee for the teachers, stuff like that. I know there is the summer concert at the Commons, so obviously I want to see where I can park and stuff like that, and I sent date before. I figured, the community would like that, because I had a few people who asked me, oh, there's no cafe. I think there's a cafe at the town, but at the Common, but on Sunday they close.
They close at 2, I
So,
think.
yeah, so everybody was like, oh, can you bring it? And I'm like, well, I need the approval first. I would love to bring it. And I know, like, they have Thursday event for the kids during the summer in July, so I was like, oh, maybe I can try that. If people like that, I can go back. Because it's nice for the kids, too. Like, I have the hot chocolate or the lemonade, so kids can enjoy it. I was at the Hampton Wyndham Picnic Pride on Sunday. It was good. So, like, I go to different events, horse shows. I do private, public, but I'd love to be more in my community.
Yeah.
And, people know me from Facebook and stuff like that, but it'd be nice to make a name in the town that I work at, so, and serve the community.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions? So our town limits an annual mobile food vendor license to 4 per year for vendors parking on public ways. Currently, there's 2 of the 4 have been issued, so this approval would bring the total number to 3.
Okay.
The Police Department, Fire Department, Health Department, and Building Inspector have all issued favorable recommendations with no conditions.
And I should know this. Do we regulate hours of operation or anything? There's,
Not that I'm aware of.
no, okay.
I don't have hours operation, but
No,
I
I
don't do
know, I
like
just- yeah.
nighttime.
Yeah, you're not going to show up if there's not an event or reason to be there.
Yeah,
I get it.
exactly, at 9 p.m.
Wanna make sure I understood
So,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, if there's an event, maybe, but usually there's an
Yeah.
event at nighttime.
Okay.
If there are limiting hours of operations with this type of license, then I'm not aware of. I'll correct it at the next at the next licensing meeting.
I'll move that the select board, acting as licensing commissioners, approve the application from Farmhouse LLC for an annual mobile food vendor license.
I'll second
Thank
that.
you.
Okay. Any further discussions or questions? Okay, I have a motion and a second. Hearing no further questions, all in favor say aye.
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 All right, perfect. Thank you.
Congratulations, thank
You guys
you.
made a good decision.
Okay,
Oh,
next.
everybody else
Item G is a discussion regarding the temporary pilot from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to extend the hours of liquor licenses.
Thank you. As you may be aware, the governor passed legislation that would allow communities to extend their liquor licenses until 3 a.m. during the World Cup games. We did do a survey of the liquor licenses in North Andover. We only received one, right, who showed interest in having the extension till 3 a.m. We did get feedback from the police department, and they're advising against doing that. I also would advise against doing it as well. So simply because the governor did the legislation, we now have to
Make the decision.
make the
on whether or not-
decision.
Yes.
Punted it back to us.
We have to opt in or out. We can't just,
Do nothing?
yeah.
I mean, I don't think the legislation says,
It just says you have to opt in.
yeah, you're just
I
opting
think
in.
you
So
have
if we
to.
took no
So if we-
action, nothing would
If we
happen.
just,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I went through and looked at every, the latest anyone is open is 1 a.m.
Yeah.
as it is. And everyone else is closed before midnight. I don't see how this is going to change anything.
no, I'm perfectly,
We're fine doing nothing.
yes. We are not opting in.
Would you have a preference on us?
No, you
on-
take no action, that's fine.
I mean, it's not in here for us to vote
Yeah,
on,
you
so.
take no action and
Yeah.
there's nothing to do, yeah, it's fine.
All good. Thanks, no thanks.
I had no interest in taking that, and taking favorable action. So taking no action is just as good. Okay. Take a motion to exit licensing.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Hear none, all in favor say aye.
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 Back to you, Madam Chair.
All right, we're gonna head back to our old business. Item A is the public hearing continued from June 1st, which was the joint petition of National Grid and Verizon to locate poles, wires, and fixtures along and across Peters Street. So I will take a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is anybody here to make a comment about this public hearing?
Do we have to vote into the public hearing?
All those in favor?
Aye.
You don't want to do that? Is anybody here to comment on the public hearing? Okay. I will invite our representatives to give us there's no discussion. Does anybody have questions about it? We've talked about it a million times.
At this point, I don't.
If there's no discussion, then I'm perfectly content to close the public hearing, and I'll take a motion.
Are we opening all the public, like,
One, I just opened one.
just one?
Yeah,
On Peter Street, okay.
Peter Street, yep.
I'll motion to close the Peter Street public hearing.
All right. I have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. That public hearing is closed. Should we open? Okay, we're gonna open and close all of them and then take our votes. I will take, our next item B is the public hearing continued from June 1st, the joint petition of National Grid and Verizon to locate poles, wires, and fixtures along and across Waverly Road. We've also heard about this, so I'll take a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We're in a public hearing. Is anybody here to comment about this public hearing?
This is the
Any-
Waverly Road one.
This
right?
is Waverly Road. Is anybody on the board? Okay. Hearing no public comment, I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Seconded.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item C is the public hearing continued from June 1st, the joint petition of Verizon to locate poles, wires, and fixtures along and across Hillside Road. I'll take a motion to enter public hearing.
This is Hillside, yeah.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is there anyone here to comment about this public hearing? If not, I'll take a motion to close the public
Can
hearing.
I ask a question?
Yeah,
You can.
I have a few questions on this one, yeah.
So this one in particular, we were identifying the wrong poll number. So I want to make sure that we were,
I'll just introduce myself.
Yeah.
So, my name is Brian Sathler. I'm here representing First National Grid today with my coworker here, John Castro. I'm located at 1101 Turnpike Street in North Andover. So this question was regarding
Hillside.
Hillside.
Mhm.
Sure.
The poll numbers were wrong the last time you guys were here?
Poll in question, I believe, is poll 2682.
So like what was on the plan wasn't the number on the poll?
Yeah, I believe that was corrected.
That was correct.
Okay.
Okay.
And the issue with the property owner was
Was
resolved.
Resolved.
Yes.
Okay. And they know which polls were,
Yes.
okay.
And on this one, if I'm wrong, so in the plan that we're looking at now, that, it's not the current right-of-way, or is it? Has that already taken place? To extend that right-of-way?
I believe
Hillside?
so,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
Yes, I believe all the,
I believe all the takings
Yes.
was
Okay, well, it takes, okay.
taken care of.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
And we received confirmation from the property owners.
That they're good.
Yep.
Okay. I don't have anything else.
Okay. On that note, I'll take a vote to close the public hearing.
So made.
Second?
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Item E is to vote on the joint petition of National Grid and Verizon to locate poles, wires, and fixtures along and across Waverly Road.
I think you skipped D.
Oh, sorry. No, we'll go back to D. A vote on joint petition of National Grid and Verizon to locate poles, wires, and fixtures along and across Peters Street. I'll take a motion.
Madam Chair, I move approval as presented in the packet.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving on to item E, which is the vote on the joint petition of National Grid and Verizon to locate poles, wires, and fixtures along and across Waverly.
Madam Chair, I'll move approval on Waverly Road as presented in the packet.
I have a motion.
Second.
And a
Second.
second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item F, a vote on the joint petition of National Grid and Verizon to locate poles, wires, and fixtures along and across Hillside.
Madam Chair, I'll once again move approval on the Hillside Road application as presented in the packet.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, at long last, you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. We're going to move on to our new business items, and item A is our vote on the fiscal year 26 year-end budget transfer.
This is our annual budget transfers. As you know, we can only make these transfers at the end of the fiscal year or the very beginning of the next fiscal year. We did have a large snow and ice deficit this year, and so there is a lot of movement, more than you would typically see. This will leave us with much less turnbacks than we typically would have as well. So just something to be aware of, that we're going to probably won't see as plentiful a free cash number as we typically would, because we typically do have more turnbacks. But what happens here basically is that we take funds from other budgets, including the Finance Committee Reserve, and we move those over to the Public Works budget to offset. So what you're seeing on the document, obviously, is anything that has the parentheses around it is being taken. Anything that's a full number or an increase is where those funds are going. This also goes before the Finance Committee as well, and they will vote for the same amounts.
Okay. Any
The
questions?
schools do not have to do this because they have a bottom line budget, so this is only on the town side.
Okay.
But we have,
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
but we have the 70,000 for Essex Aggie,
Yes,
even though that's the school,
Yes.
because we're supplementing them.
because we supplement that. And that's a tough one, and I think will continue to be tough the next couple of years because of the change to how they're taking out a lottery.
Yeah.
I think we'll see more students continue to apply, so I anticipate that that's going to be difficult for us to estimate to the best of our abilities, but
Are we guaranteed a certain number of seats like at Greater Lawrence?
no.
No.
But Essex Aggie has an interesting special legislation that anybody can apply to go there because they have such a unique program. And so they take students from any district.
Even if your district offers the same study?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
So they do, they're, I think, the only school that has that legislation.
The only technical school in the Commonwealth?
Yes, and I think because of their agricultural program.
And snow and ice, so in the last 5 years, where does this one rank, dollar-wise?
Doozy. So we were at
Yeah.
we have a $2.6 million deficit, which means we spent $3.6 million on snow and ice this year. Jim's here, look at that. He will tell you
The
this
snow and
is
ice guy.
So I think that, it's top 5 for sure. I
For
can't think
sure.
of one that's been higher. Typically, the last couple of years, our deficit has been more in the $1 million range.
Okay. And does that change anything we should do for budgeting in the future, or you just look at the long-term averages and go with it?
No, so snow and ice is a tough one.
Yeah.
Jim.
I know
will
you can't
tell
predict the weather. I'm
No, it's not even that. So the issue with snow and ice is that it's the only account that we're allowed to spend into the deficit. So the risk of keeping that balanced is a lot better than if we tried to keep utilities balanced or we tried to keep gasoline balanced or whatever else. Because we are able to spend into the red and we are allowed to raise on the recap for the following year, 1. 2, it's the only municipal account that you cannot decrease. So if we decided we wanted to put snow and ice up to 2 million instead of 1 million, but then in the following year, we start seeing that the climate trends are going down, or we're using pickle brine instead of salt, we're never allowed to decrease that budget again.
backwards.
No.
You can
And it's
go
the only one. Yes, it's the only municipal account that we're not allowed to decrease the budget for.
Is it Plow Drivers Union that forced that?
No, I think what it is that in a tough year, people would raid snow and ice.
Okay.
And then they will just raise it next year and deal with it then. And so they probably realized that was happening, and so set parameters around being able to do that.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Was any of that part of the, increased fuel costs to the drivers or anything like that to drive that cost? I know we had a lot of storms, obviously, but, on a per hour basis or per mile basis, do we see a bigger increase this year?
We saw increases to our contracts, which we are constantly looking at because we're trying to compete with the communities around us. And if we lose contractors, it really impacts our ability to be able to plow based on just the really small number of DPW employees that we have. And so we had that. We had contractual agreements within our own contract that we were dealing with. So, yeah, the costs are constantly going up. Ice melt, salt was more expensive this year and also was at a minimum, meaning that it was in a short staffed everywhere. So an inability to get it kind of dragged those prices up as well, so.
Can you talk a little bit about the general government and public safety, like savings?
Yeah, so the general government, that $125,000, that's actually the deputy town manager's salary that we didn't use, so we were able to move that over. Public safety, we just had a lot of vacancies, we had a lot of movement. In fire, if or police, if an employee is injured, they actually get transferred over to our injured on duty, which is in our benefits line item. And if we're filling positions, which we've been doing this year, there'll be a lag in those, and so that's why you're seeing a bump there. Payroll salary reserve, that's where we settle contracts from, and so we had a little bit of money left there. If you remember correctly, last year was also the year that we had a free cash transfer because we had so many years of contract that we were making up for. So that had a little bit of a cushion in it, which we didn't typically have.
Thank you.
And there might be more movement too that you're not seeing because we are allowed to move within a cluster. So like we can move money from fire to police. We can move money from the town clerk's office to HR office. We just can't move within the clusters.
I'll take a motion.
I'll move that the select board approve the end of the year budget reallocations as presented.
Second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Thank you, everyone, for their hard work.
Thank you.
All
Thanks
those
to
in
Dennis and
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes, thank you. All right, item B is to approve the letter to request the waiver to prohibit the limited delivery of marijuana and marijuana products to consumers.
So in exciting news, Andrew was so on the ball that there's now a form to fill out and we don't even need to do the letter. So that's great news, but there is now an official form that we can, and we can still send a letter if it makes you feel good, but we can also do the form. Yeah, so there is a form that we can now fill out that actually just came out this week that would allow us to, again, limit the delivery of marijuana and marijuana products to consumers in Massachusetts under the new law.
Can I get a little bit of a primer as to actually what this actually means?
Sure. So there was, and Andrew, feel free to jump in anywhere here. There was new cannabis law that recently was passed. That cannabis law allows the delivery of marijuana throughout the entire state, but it allows communities who, by bylaw, it's tough, by bylaw, have banned recreational marijuana use to petition the state for a 2-year period to not allow the delivery. And then every 2 years after that, we were going to have to set a calendar reminder to do it again.
So outside vendors cannot deliver into North Andover?
Yes.
They can travel through.
They can drive through.
Deliver.
Don't stop.
They can't stop.
I think the only thing
Dennis, anything?
I would correct is I don't know for sure that we'll be able to reapply in 2 years. I don't think that's set in stone yet.
Okay.
I think
So I read it.
we have this waiver period initially,
This is
and at some point, we may not have the ability to waive it in future years. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. I don't know for certain.
Take the 2 years while we have it.
Yeah.
And it was as a result of town meeting.
Town meeting voted not to allow recreational marijuana in North Andover, correct?
If there aren't other questions, I will take a motion.
I will move that the select board approve the letter to request waiver to prohibit the limited delivery of marijuana and marijuana products to consumers.
Second that.
I have a motion.
Wait, can I just ask a question? Procedurally, should we have the vote be to enable the town manager to submit a form
I think you
online?
just say to request waiver.
To request
I think
waiver,
the way
okay.
it's fine.
Got
Yeah,
it.
to
Yep.
prove to request a waiver, and we can figure out the best way to
Request
do it. I think that's fine.
Okay. So I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Item C, a discussion regarding China Blossom. Who's going to kick this off? Andrew, are you going to? Okay.
Bear with me here.
You're just going to walk you through a brief presentation about the status of 40B in North Andover, and additionally, kind of what a LIP is, because I think this is the first time that many people have ever heard that term used here in town.
I had to look it up.
There you go, see?
So the projector just needs to get fired up here. Bear with me.
It's over there, just warm.
You all see this?
We see that.
We can,
It's coming.
Great. So for the record, Andrew Shapiro, Assistant Town Manager, Director of Community and Economic Development. As the Town Manager noted tonight, we're going to review our current standing on our MGL 40B and discuss how the state's local initiative program, otherwise known as LIP, can be used as a strategic tool to maintain local control over communities' growth and housing development. And this is in a precursor to a further discussion we'll have on a proposal coming from the owners of China Blossom. Let's not speculate on other projects yet. Sorry about that. So tonight, we're going to summarize our roadmap. We'll first take a look at our baseline numbers. We're currently below the state's 10% mandate for affordable housing units, which leaves us theoretically exposed to standard 40B overrides. Second, we'll look at our current pipeline, specifically the 40 Prescott Street project that's currently going through the ZBA and how it impacts our numbers. And finally, I will introduce LIP as a framework that shifts the power balance back to this board, turning potential adversarial developments into collaborative municipal partnerships. So let's look at the hard data. Per our baseline, North Andover's official total housing stock sits at 11,872 year-round units, a figure that's tied to the 2020 U.S. Census. So our current subsidized housing units, otherwise known as SHI, currently consists of 958 units, giving us an official SHI percentage of 8.07%. Because the denominator remains fixed for a period of 10 years, any eligible affordable units we add directly moves the needle on our percentage. Crucially, this 8% baseline does not include active pipeline projects currently being discussed around town, such as 0 Prescott, 149 Main, 1591 Osgood Street, or established projects that have been built recently like Minco or Avalon. So again, here's below just a screenshot from the state's website on our SHI showing the 8%. To reach the state's 10% statutory threshold, we need 1,188 eligible units, meaning we're currently about 230 units short. The proposed 280-unit development at 0 Prescott is large enough to completely erase that deficit and push us to 10.43%. More importantly, safe harbor. Under state guidelines, if a municipality increases its SHI eligible units by at least 1% of its total year-round housing stock within a single calendar year, it is granted a 2-year safe harbor from forced 40B overrides. Because 0 Prescott represents a 2.4% increase in our year-round housing units, its approval would immediately grant the town this 2-year shield, giving us a massive leverage over any other pending developments. So this is just talking a little bit about sort of the caveats around getting our safe harbor. Managing the inventory requires precise timing. Once a comprehensive permit for 0 Prescott is approved and filed with the town clerk, all 280 units hit our SHI ledger. But the clock starts ticking immediately. The developer has exactly 12 months from the filing date to pull a building permit. If they fail to do so, the state strips those units off our inventory ledger until the permit is issued. If the developer decides, for instance, to phase the project, only the units that actively receive building permits stay on our numerator. For example, if they pull permits for building 1 in the Prescott Street development, and let me just go ahead and preface by saying that development has not been approved. I'm not presaging that it will be approved. I don't know what the ZBA is going to do in that particular case. But if they do, it is approved, and they only pull permits for that first building, that's 149 units. So our SHI would climb to 9.32%. The good news is that 149 unit increase still represents a 1.3% jump in our housing stock, which still triggers that two-year safe harbor trigger. So what I'm saying here is no matter what the phasing is, we're going to get our 2 years if that project's approved, and we approve 280 units total.
Can I ask a question
Yeah.
on that specifically? So, I guess a couple things. If they, let's say it gets approved, let's say the whole thing gets approved.
Yep.
And they never pull a permit.
Yep.
Or they wait 2 years to pull a permit, and another project slips in and goes through the process faster and gets approved. Can they step right back into their old permits? Or do they lose their 40B status?
Well, they have a year to pull permits.
Yep.
I think they actually have a total of 3 years statutorily to activate the permit as a whole.
But we only get credit if they do it within 1 year.
No, we only get, so we have a year
Yeah.
where the units go on, the SHI,
Yep.
and if they don't pull the permits within that year, any units that are not, any permits are not pulled for come off the SHI. Then the developer has 2 more years after that to apply for permits to activate the permit. But only the units that are applied for, building permit-wise, go on the SHI.
But they can still build, right? So if we're only allowing a project because it's a 40B, right? Let's say ZBA is only approving because it's 40B. They don't pull, we lose credits for those units in SHI. They can then still pull on day 366? And we don't
Yes.
have credit?
No, we will get
We will
credit.
get
The
credit.
credit comes back.
Okay.
Yep. So if any time after the 1 year, if the permits are not pulled,
Yeah.
the units for which building permits are pulled, those go back on the SHI. They're sort of just, the units are just sort of hibernating there, if you will.
Well, and that's where you just get concerned, if another project comes in.
Yep. But again, my understanding would be that we're going to have a 2-year safe harbor status.
Okay.
So the minute, if the project were to be approved, the state is going to look at that as this town has constructively approved 280 units that are going on the SHI.
You get the 1%.
And so from that moment that the project is, if it is approved, that would be a 2-year safe harbor status starting at that point, when it's filed with the
Just
town clerk.
approved, Not permitted, like,
Correct.
So the danger is after year 2 to year 3,
Got it, okay.
right?
Well, so.
Not the danger,
I'm trying
but
to see
like-
how we can.
It's not the
like
danger.
12%.
We're talking about two different things. We're talking about the SHI, which is,
Mm-hmm.
which we'd like to be above 10% to remain indefinitely in safe harbor.
Mm-hmm.
And we're talking about an initial 2-year period where, because we're increasing our housing stock for affordable units by over 1%, we're getting a 2-year safe harbor status. So we are getting 2 years that's the way I look
Whether
at
they
it.
build or not.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry to.
That's okay. So after 2 years, let's say they've not pulled any permits, we revert way back down to whatever number of SHI units we have minus whatever they haven't pulled for.
During that 2-year period, another project could not have come forward because we're in safe harbor.
They can come forward, but we can declare safe harbor and not have to take it under a comprehensive permit application.
Year 3, we could,
Year 3, if no permits have been pulled and we have a lower numerator,
then,
and it's determined that we're under 10%, we're out of safe harbor compliance, and a hostile 40B could come forward.
All right.
Sorry, I know that's a lot, and I know the public is probably digesting a lot there too, but that's my understanding. But just looking further down the time horizon a little bit, if we combine the 2020 baseline with Avalon, Minco, 149 Main, 1591 Osgood, and 0 Prescott, our estimated SHI climbs to roughly 9.91%. Now, you might be asking, why is that? Why is it under 10% with all those other projects combined? The reason is because if you look at Minco, for instance, that's 136 units, all market rate. That goes straight to the denominator, not the numerator. Same thing with Avalon. They have 221 units, none of which are affordable. 221 units straight to the denominator. 149 Main Street has 21 market rate units, 3 of which are affordable, so the majority of which are going to the denominator. 1591 Osgood Street, Jimmy's Pizza, 33 market rate units, 5 affordable. And then 0 Prescott Street, all 280 units, if it were to be approved as such, would all go to the numerator. So if you take all those into consideration, you get to 9.91% looking forward.
at the Jimmy's Pizza, there's 5 affordable units included, is that what you said? But they don't all
5.
count.
They don't all count. So in the scenario that we're looking at now with the 40B, every single, the one benefit of there could be multiple benefits, but one benefit of a 40B is that every single unit, market rate and affordable, gets put on the SHI. But if you take a traditional project that goes under inclusionary zoning,
Based on our
just the
inclusionary zoning.
affordable
Yep.
units go on the SHI, not all the units. So that's the reason for the difference there.
But all of the, when our denominator is recalculated in 2030, all of those units will be part of the new, like,
I'm sorry, say that again?
when our denominator won't be recalculated till 2030,
Correct.
right? And all
Will
of
not
those
be.
units are gonna be.
That's correct. So we're looking way ahead to 2030 here, which when I say
Well,
way
that's
ahead, it's
actually not
2026. It's
very
not,
far ahead.
not as far as you would think, so. So that's kind of, I'm sorry, I should have forwarded to this slide. That's what this slide is indicating right here. And then one other detail here is Woodridge Homes, which in 2045, 230 units come off the SHI. Now, I know there's some discussion about this in the community, and there's a thought that this is somehow, a boogeyman or something like that. It's not. It's just straight factual information. I know that Woodridge Homes at one point in time came up for expiration of their SHI units, and they decided to recertify them as affordable units. And we are in the situation we are now, where we have till 2045, and the property owner, the manager, whoever is in charge of those decisions, may in fact decide to do that again, but maybe they don't. I have no indication one way or the other. So this is just another data point to consider, is that in 2045, we could have 230 units coming off the SHI, depending on what the property owner there decides to do.
What is that process? Why does the property owner get to decide?
Well, they get to decide because it's their property, and they have to decide whether they want to go through a process with, EOHLC to recertify affordable units, get additional housing, low-income housing tax credits, for instance, or if they envision something else for the property.
And they
like
could not re-enter and sell the whole property
They
or
could.
whatever the case may
Does-
be. Yeah.
Every property owner have to go through this application for SHI?
No, because if a property owner certifies their affordable units in perpetuity, then it just goes on the deed and the deed rider as affordable in perpetuity. In this particular case, these units had an expiration on them.
Is that the only property in town with an expiration?
I can't say for sure. I don't know off the top of my head if there's any, but this is certainly the property with the most units that I can think of that has this scenario in place.
Until Zero Prescott, if it gets approved and built.
But that will be.
Would that be in perpetuity?
I believe that will be in perpetuity, yes.
Yeah, it's
But
20
with-
years, who knows what they're going to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so there's a,
that's what we'll-
it's just something else to think about going forward, but it's not, there's no certainty within it.
But if we increase our affordable housing stock, we further protect ourselves from unfriendly, or from not being able to stop another.
Correct. The only thing, but just as noted before, if we're at 9.9% in 2030, we're still teetering on that line right now.
Right.
That's all. That's all that's to say. So talking about the LIP, the Local Initiative Program, this brings us to this tool that was established by the state to give towns like North Andover the flexibility to create low and moderate income housing on the town's terms. It's specifically designed for local projects that do not receive state or federal cash subsidies. Instead of money, the state provides a technical subsidy. By certifying the project through LIP, the state validates it under Chapter 40B rules, allowing the units to count toward our SHI while bypassing traditional zoning, similar to a regular 40B. And I just want to clarify, when I'm talking about not receiving direct state or cash subsidies, that's only during the application process to certify the project. The developer can certainly seek cash subsidies or other subsidies through the state if that's what they want to do, and that's part of their capital stack or financing. So this is just kind of taking us through the decision-making process or the life cycle of decision points. In a standard unfriendly 40B, a developer bypasses local zoning completely, and this board is left in sort of a reactive defensive position, trying to mitigate high density potentially. In a friendly LIP partnership, the developer and this select board negotiate site design, density, and infrastructure impacts before an application is ever submitted to the state. So that's kind of the difference between the two. So the LIP gives us like two execution points. First is the comprehensive permit, where we jointly apply with the developer to the state for a site eligibility letter, which then goes to our ZBA as a negotiated package. Second, local action units, or LAUs. These units are created through our own local zoning innovations like inclusionary zoning bylaws or special permits, which are then converted into SHI credits via formal regulatory agreement. So as a select board, your authority in the process is clear and decisive. You have two primary pivot points. One, the initial endorsement, where you decide whether or not to jointly sign an application for site eligibility with the developer. And two, the execution of a regulatory agreement, ensuring the town's long-term oversight of the affordability protections. Things you can require of the applicant: documentation of site control and interest in the site, a deed or a option to purchase, description of current site conditions, a site plan, sample floor plans of the proposed units with details on size, type, and proposed cost of units, and a narrative description of the project consistent with the EOHLC LIP design guidelines. And then in addition, the town can also require local preference as well as veterans preference. You can state that and negotiate that with the developer or the project proponent, as well as other additional public benefits, things like improvements to traffic or infrastructure or other public benefits as discussed with the developer. So this is just to be clear that the board, if it's making any decisions on this, shouldn't predicate any decisions on protected classes, like based on age, race, gender, disability, et cetera, discouraging housing for families or school-aged children, or other considerations that would violate federal or Massachusetts fair housing laws. If EOHLC finds a project eligible via the LIP application, the applicant is able to proceed to apply for a comprehensive permit with the ZBA without approval from a subsidizing agency, as mentioned before. Both the developer and the town can avail themselves of technical assistance from the Commonwealth, as we've done in the case of the Zero Prescott application. We have technical assistance from the state through MHP, I believe, that is helping us through that application process. And that's really it. And that's just sort of to tee up the discussion regarding China Blossom, give you sort of a picture into our 40B situation, and give you some preliminary information about how LIPs work.
And so just to simple purposes, if we decided that we wanted to move forward with the developer, the select board would negotiate, or they would have the manager and the administration team negotiate a development agreement. The development agreement lays out the number of units, public benefits like traffic mitigation or any public work that needs to be done, agreements to apply for grants together, local preference, veterans, agreements to do traffic studies, and then all of that package, if you decided to endorse that package and send a letter to the state saying that you were in favor of the project, would then go to the ZBA, and the ZBA would use that as part of their comprehensive permit application and basically make sure that whatever they decided to do with the project remains the terms of the development agreement.
Okay. So at that point, it essentially becomes like a 40B.
At that point, it is a friendly, it's a friendly,
40B.
non-predatory 40B, yes. And the reason communities often like this process is because they do get to do things like make determinations on density. You're not basically getting a 40B project and then this is it, right? It's going to go forward and the only thing you can really talk about is parking or public safety. You're able to have a little bit more of your hands into design, what a project looks like, the number of units, the preferences, et cetera.
If a major concern is traffic on what's a state a state highway that we don't necessarily always have a lot of control over, how would we work with the Commonwealth on that?
Yeah, so my experience doing a LIP on a state highway, typically what happens is that you bring the state in early. There's a lot of work together on mass grant type applications. The developer and the town will work with the state on any potential funding mechanism. So if you think about Amazon, right? Amazon was a state highway project. It was before I was here and before Andrew was here and Laurie was here, but there was a tri-party agreement when it came to both sewer and road work, right? And all of the parties actually put funding towards that. You could see something like that, but you can also see the state coming forward with funding, especially if there is both a residential and commercial aspect to a project.
And they're generally cooperative and...
We've been very lucky with all of our applications to the state generally. They've been very positive towards us, but that's typically what you would see.
Do you have examples of different other LIP projects, whether it's us or a surrounding community?
So I do. I have a document that I created for myself. Hold on a second. I did a LIP in Sudbury for a large development, but the developer here today actually also has had a lip, and their lip was with the town of Wilmington. So they can certainly share some information with you about that. Westford, which is another development, they did not have a lip because it was town-owned land, so they went through a separate process. But their Wilmington project, which was 108 units and was built in 2020, was a local initiative project. There was agreements about grants to be drafted and paid, and the developer actually paid for the grant applications, so the development of them. There was agreements regarding roadwork, crosswalks, and light beacons, and the developer agreed to pay $2.5 million towards a public safety substation over a 10-year period.
I believe Newburyport recently approved one as well.
They did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the current zoning of that parcel?
General business, I believe.
Yeah, it's commercial. Let me pull it up. Sorry, just opening the GIS maps. That's okay.
Surprising to me that it's over 3 acres. It's hard to believe,
Isn't that
right? When
crazy?
you,
It's 2 parcels.
It's long and lean.
it's
And
long.
one is
It's a lot of,
wooded.
yeah, it's a big,
Bowling alley.
It totally
It is a business 2 district, general business district. Says residence 4 as well.
These two
Wait, it says-
parcels are in 3 different zoning
Mhm.
districts?
Yes, it's long.
It's really long.
Yeah.
It's long.
Yeah, I'm looking at a different map. I've got it as all business.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Does, it can't be R4.
Says here it is. Andrew, can you bring up the,
Andrew's pulling
Yeah, I'm
it
bringing it up.
Mm.
on the GIS? Thank you. I will add that, there are representatives here from China Blossom today, who also have a presentation that they'd be happy to give you as well. It's, 9:46, all's good.
Why don't we have you guys come on up and we'll work on this while.
I've got it as GB.
GB, general business. I believe there's a small parcel
There it is.
that we're going to discuss that's next to it that looks like it might be part of R4, and it's also in the watershed protection district, which is the hashed lines.
But it's a little.
Yeah, I've got it all as GB, but unless it's this one too. But
so what would that allow them to build by right?
Well, in terms of housing, general business does not allow multifamily by right, as far as I know. So
So it would have to be commercial?
mostly commercial, like you see today, the restaurant or other
It could be
business
any-
uses.
any-
center,
Yeah, it could be not a big office building, it could be.
Yep.
Could be it's all part of a strip mall, right?
Yep, as long as it respects certain setbacks, and it would still need to get a watershed special permit if it was a new building.
No
under
matter
that.
what.
Correct.
All right, any other questions about this portion for the moment? If not, we'd be happy to hear from all of you, so let us know who you are.
Should I be the one who pulls up their
If you
presentation?
could, that would be
Yep,
great.
I'll do
You're
that.
all hooked up.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Chair Phillips, members, Town Manager Rodriguez, staff. My name's Andrew Chabin, your non-predatory developer for the evening. I've had the pleasure of operating Princeton Properties as its Chief Executive Officer since January of 1994. So we have done many projects, including one in your community, what used to be called Princeton North Andover, today is called The Haven. One about 3 miles north of where we sit right now, the old DeBurrows facility next to Cedardale, called the James, and one that Town Manager Rodriguez referenced in Wilmington, that will open in the month of September. It's 108 units. That is a local initiative petition. So we'll focus a little on that only because I think it's analogous to what it is that we're proposing here. So I think it's important to point out the development team that's with me. Joe Pesnola to my left, well-known to the town of North Andover, civil engineer for our project in North Andover. Gene Enright uses Joe's firm, Hancock, as a review engineer on many projects. Joe and I have been developing projects together for close to 30 years. Behind me, you will probably notice members of the China Blossom family, David and Warren. Unfortunately, Richard is under the weather this evening, but if we're fortunate enough to be able to come before you again, I think Richard will likely be here. These folks are looking for us to be able to help them develop the property. Okay, so think of them, if you would, tonight as the seller. And also, sitting at that table, you may recognize Brian Lawler, former resident in North Andover, former police officer here in North Andover, and former clerk of courts in Massachusetts, helping us with the project. You know us from the Princeton, North Andover, the Haverhill, and obviously we're going to introduce you to the Wilmington project. Princeton owns and operates about 8,000 apartment homes, all within about a 90-minute radius of where we're sitting, north of Boston, southern New Hampshire, Portland, Maine. We're a bit of a one-trick pony. We are in the multifamily space. We're somewhat agnostic as to the capital stack. We have market rate units. We have deeply targeted affordable units. We have everything in between. Here, what we're targeting, as Andrew completely accurately laid out, is a multifamily project. Joe's going to walk you through the site plan, but in essence, what we're proposing or would like to build is 124 apartment homes in 2 buildings and a remade China Blossom, only about a third of the size of what is there now. So it'll be a much smaller, much more scaled down version of what's there. Details forthcoming, but that's in essence the plan. So 3.76 acres. There's 2 parcels that make up the site. Joe can walk us through that. As I said, 124 units, 63 of which would be 1-bedrooms, 49 2-bedrooms, and 12 3-bedrooms that would are mandated because at least 10% of the community has to be 3 bedrooms pursuant to the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for a transaction like this. I think it's important to point out we are here completely voluntarily. You guys are here, I hope, to listen. Our job tonight is to try and entice you to let us ultimately move on to the Zoning Board of Appeals to be heard for the, let's call it the merits, if you will, or the nitty-gritty of a housing development with a restaurant on it. As Town Manager Rodriguez correctly pointed out, we would look to enter into a development agreement with the town, very much similar to what we did with the town of Wilmington. Then it was Town Manager Jeff Hull. He's since retired, but Eric Schlegel, who I've known for a long time, who used to work in Lowell, I think would be a wonderful resource for the board and for the town manager to talk about their experience with us through this exact process in Wilmington. That said, Princeton, as I said, does only one thing. We still have the very first 24-unit building that we ever purchased across from Lowell General Hospital in 1973. So we're generally very long-term owners and operators of property. That's our plan. When we take in large-scale investors, institutional investors, they sometimes drive the bus. We didn't want to sell the property that we had in North Andover. I wish we hadn't. It's obviously done very well, and we hope that it has been a source of pride to the town. We're certainly proud of what we were able to do there. So I'm going to turn it over to Joe and ask him to walk you through our concept plan.
Good evening, everybody. So as you know, the site is on the corner of Osgood Street and Sutton. It is developed currently with the China Blossom building, which is kind of in the northwest corner. There's an entrance, fully functioning entrance on Sutton. There's another entrance on Osgood Street. Our plan would be to try to address immediately the traffic concerns out there, and we've had some initial conversations with staff regarding that. And we would study this in much more depth as we got deeper into the process with the ZBA. But we would first move that entrance on Sutton further to the west and limit it, at least in left turn out movements, maybe just right turn out. And the Osgood Street, we would move to the south and have that fully functioning. And with internal wayfinding signage, we would get people to the restaurant. I think we'd definitely have our residents would see that as our ceremonial focused entrance with signage and so forth, but would also try to drive the restaurant customers that way to take some of the curse off of that existing entrance on Sutton. So the development plan would have the 3,500 square foot restaurant right up on the north side of the project, with the entry kind of on the west side towards, and the south side of the building, with a small parking lot there and a parking lot in the west. As Andrew said, the concept would be for two buildings, standard classic buildings that Princeton builds, central corridor, with units on either side, mixes of 1s, 2s, and 3s. The building on the north side would be 60 units and would take advantage of the topography on the site and have an entrance into a lower level garage, on a garage under on that building from that Osgood Street entrance. And then there'd be obviously parking along the whole back west side for that. So that would be 4 stories from that back parking lot level. It'd be four stories of units there, 60 total units in that building. The south building would have exclusively surface parking with a small parking lot in the south end. Just going back to the existing conditions for a moment, we have the developed portion of the site with the restaurant and the long parking lot that heads in the southerly direction. There is a 3/4 acre parcel that's currently vacant that we would be utilizing, and that is represented here as being part of the development. And there'd be a parking lot down there on the south side, which would service that second building. That building would be 64 units, again, from the parking lot, 4 stories up. But here, similar to utilizing the topography on the site, we would have some units, possibly 7 units on that lower level, built into the hillside with windows on the Osgood side. So appearance-wise, from the west, it would be a 4-story building, and we would utilize the topography there. So we've got a total of 235 spaces. That is a 1.65 parking ratio for the residential units, which is right on target for what we're looking for in all of our projects, given our unit mix. And that's about 35 spaces for the restaurant, which is right in line with them. There would be some crossover. There wouldn't really be dedicated parking, so in that region of the northwest, there would be the ability for some flex to the restaurant side and to the resident side. Obviously, the site has topographic challenges, but we think that we can certainly work with that to get a fully ADA compliant site. Trash removal would be hidden with screening and so forth, and separate for the residents and the restaurant. As far as the watershed protection district, we would, right now, there's really no formal drainage system out there, so there's no treatment going on, there's no recharge going on. We would put together a stormwater management system that would do all of that. It would totally treat the water, it would recharge it back into the ground, which is the primary concern of the watershed district, is to provide constant, clean water back to the resource, back to the lake, which is the source of water. So that would be another enhancement. As I said, we would utilize the services of Mr. Jeffrey Dirk from Vanessa and Associates, would be our traffic engineer, and he would do a full traffic study prior to submission to the ZBA and have that fully vetted, working with DOT, understanding the challenges of that intersection, and possibly looking for grant opportunities to make improvements not only for the project but for the whole area.
Interesting that talked about a state road. Our project in Wilmington is on Route 62, and so potentially a field trip, whether that's the members of the board, whether that's staff or some combination, I think would be interesting, because I think that's completely analogous. Not only is it a LIP, but it's also on a state highway. So I think you can see what we've done there. As I said, that first building is due to open in September, so it's a really good time to take a look there. Just a few pictures to leave you with. This is the project that we developed here in the community of North Andover. You guys now know it as the Haven. This is one that we've fully developed, came before the town, asked you to trust us. The town did, and I'm hoping that people continue to find that a credit to the community. Keep going, Andrew, if you would. Sure. Thank you. Sample photography. This is what the inside of the units look like. This one happens to be North Andover. We'll show you some others in a moment. Right up the street, over the line into Haverhill, is the James. It's named after Jim Herscott, who was my business partner for 32 years, who unfortunately passed away last year, but this was a tribute to him before he passed away. So kind of the best of what I think that we've done. 153 units. That one happens to be 100% market rate. We, again, think it's a real credit to the entire Merrimack Valley community. It's been extraordinarily well received. That's the interior of the James. You see the two-tone cabinetry, pretty long, modern kitchens, etc. And again, all these are available for a tour to the extent that anyone would like them. Be happy to walk you through. Princeton Wilmington, that sign literally just went up on Friday, which is nice. The project, as you can see, is still under construction. And as I said, we're looking for September occupancy. One of the suggested submittals for a local initiative program is floor plans, and so we can probably move through these, Andrew, in the interest of time. Sure. But we have provided you floor plans for a one-bedroom concept, a one-bedroom with den, which we found an extraordinarily popular unit type. Those are in the Haverhill project and in the Wilmington project, and they're proposed here in our unit mix that we've turned in. Two-bedroom floor plan, and the next one should be a sample 3. The process that we would look to follow here is to look to secure an approval from the Board of Selectmen to move us on to the Zoning Board of Appeals. We will have to do a request for determination of applicability with respect to conservation issues, but we suspect that there's really no active or engaged wetland there, and so we would be doing an RDA there as part of the parallel process with and potentially even before we submitted with the ZBA, so we quote know what's wet and what's dry. And we would look to try and submit something to the ZBA later this year. September timeframe would be our goal, and look to be in the ground in 2027 if that is something that the community would like us to do. The restaurant details we are currently working through. Warren Chu, a member of the family, is considering opening, if you will, a remade China Blossom on that spot. We still have a lot to do there. We haven't kind of taken those negotiations forward pending the decision of this board ultimately, but that is the current thinking, is that we would try and remake a much smaller version of a China Blossom there. There's some other thoughts as well, but that's kind of option A, if you will, for the project at the moment. So with that, Chair Phillips, we stand open for questions and look forward to having an opportunity to have an open dialogue and work with the board.
I had a question.
Sure.
You mentioned that you would want to, that you plan on having a comprehensive, parking study that you'd want to present to the ZBA. Would you be open to doing that much sooner so that, it could be, a part of the, for our evaluation?
So why not?
Yeah, I mean, it really, I think, maybe not the full study with regards to getting traffic counts and all of that, but certainly to bring and engage Mr. Dirk to talk about the issues that are with that intersection and what his ideas might be to make some improvements in that area, even without bounds of cost, because we'd be looking at the grant situations.
One of the beauties of using Jeff Dirk for this project is that he already has all the data that I think you're looking for, because he was involved in the Amazon project. So much of that data already exists in his database, and so I don't think it would be a heavy lift to supply you guys with exactly what you're looking for.
So he just completed our 1-year full occupancy traffic study.
So he knows what the problems are.
Which included Sutton Street, correct?
Which included Sutton.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
What's the footprint of the buildings? Roughly like 75, 80 feet on the narrow end?
Yeah, they're around 75 feet wide.
Okay.
And they're about 280 long.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's the height going to be relative to the buildings out here, because those are pretty high? They're not, I mean, they're just because this topography is higher than that, right?
Yeah, we would, as you come moving east from the Minco project, we would have a retaining wall along that parking lot on the west side, so it would drop down immediately to the parking lot level and then go 4 stories up.
So would the parking lot level be like current parking lot level, or
lower?
Or lower?
Yeah.
And then that roof line of the new project would be lower than
Right.
Minco?
Oh,
Okay,
definitely.
yeah.
I can't quite read the plan, I'm sorry, in the presentation. The front setbacks, is that
25 feet.
25 feet? So that's me on top of the road. I know you said you really just be playing the multifamily space. Did you guys consider any options that have ground floor retail or commercial as a part of this, reducing units and doing some sort of play there?
We've tossed that around. We're not convinced that there's really a market for that in this location at present. The amount of parking that would be necessary as well, we'd be creating a sea of asphalt out there. For instance, in the multifamily space, this is what we do. The restaurant piece, we think, gives us a real unique selling proposition, something very different. We happen to manage a building in Boston, if you've ever been there, 381 Congress Street, where row 34 is. We manage that building as well, and so having a restaurant in the building is not new to us. This one would actually be next to it as opposed to in it. We think that's a little easier to manage, but it really is a unique selling proposition. We can't tell you how many people question us when they come into the restaurant about what they're looking for in terms of apartments, so.
That was part of the deal, they wanted to stay.
We one-stop shopping, right? But we think the restaurant's the unique selling proposition.
What are our next steps?
So a couple of things. I think, one, we need to make a determination on whether or not we're interested in trying to work through a development agreement, which would then come back to all of you for review. That's one. 2, I think it would be important to collect some public feedback, so we could do that through either a survey, or we could kind of do like an open call for public comments about this and bring that all together. I think both of those things would be, maybe even a combination of those 2 things would be good over the next month or so, as we're kind of going through the process. What's important to people, what would they want to see there, I think is also going to be important, and maybe perhaps we do both of those things and then come back to you with kind of a framework for what a development agreement would look like, as well as what that public comment was, so that you have all the information that perhaps you need in order to make an educated determination, because it's very difficult to say anything positive or negative about a proposal when you really haven't seen what a development agreement looks like or what public input would be.
Right. I guess I had two more questions, maybe more technical. So you mentioned RDA because of the Concom potential issues, right? That's just part of the process. Being in the watershed protection district, that's typically the purview of the planning board, is that correct?
In the watershed?
Yeah, that process would be subsumed into the comprehensive permit.
It would be, okay, all right, so.
So the
Planning board
zoning,
gets bypassed altogether.
well, the zoning board would be the permit granting authority, and they would vet the project in the same manner that the planning board would, and planning staff and the planning board can comment on that. And we would look to do the same things that other projects have to do within that. And again, stormwater's a huge piece of that.
May I interject? Correct me if I'm wrong in assuming this. Similar to what we're seeing with the Zero Prescott Street, even though the ZBA would subsume that zoning process or that overview of the watershed protection district, the applicant would have the right to request waivers under that zoning.
True.
So waivers could be considered.
With regard to, but the watershed protection district is highly process-driven. It's a special permit so that you're making sure that that projects in town are protecting those very critical water resource areas. So.
What are you seeing for housing demand? You're building all these units. Are you, based on what's been built, there's pretty high demand. Is that continuing?
It is absolutely continuing. I think the cost of a 30-year mortgage at the moment, and with interest rates where they are, has kept a lot of people out of home ownership and into the rental market, for good or for bad. No commentary there, just factual. We're continuing to see the demand greatly outstrip the supply for the type of housing that we have. The James has been a wonderful success. Before we've even opened the leasing office on Monday, we had 85 market rate requests in Wilmington just from a sign and a phone number out front. So if that's any indication of where the market is, it's there's a real want for this type of product. So many people as well are working hybrid from home, and the type of units that we built here in North Andover and in Haverhill have been really well received for that. So the demand is certainly outstripping the supply.
It's new to all of us tonight, so I'm sure there will be a lot more questions as you absorb the information. And
yeah, I mean, I just would reiterate what Dave was saying. Traffic's a huge concern, huge.
It's a lot more than Wilmington. I know your Wilmington site very well. Yeah.
This has become very difficult right here.
We get it. Melissa and Andrew were certainly not shy about letting us know that. And that's one of the good news is we've worked with Jeff Dirk for 25 years. And so he happens to have the database on this. So that happens to align really well. We recognize what the issue is. And if we can be proactive in helping solve that while also getting some economic development going, hopefully we can try and kill two birds with one stone. This is a cooperative effort. This is not, your predatory 40B. I love that term.
Did I say that or did Andrew say that?
I may have let that slip. I don't know.
Far from it. I've been doing this an awful long time. When I first brought this to the attention of the town, so look, we only want to do this as a LIP. We really would like to do this in a fashion that moves everything forward together. We had a good experience in North Andover where I think one of the larger landlords in the Merrimack Valley, I think our products speak for itself. So we just kind of can take our 60-year history as a company and kind of lay it out to everybody and say, this is what we do. To your point, sir, this is what we do. So.
And there's an opportunity. The grant programs are opportunities. And they start by needing a project that then needs, that has infrastructure needs. And I think on the first project that we did, that grant made some great improvements up on that section of Osgood Street. And maybe, you know, the same thing can happen here.
Yeah, I
think,
mean, I would
like-
say that, sorry.
No,
go
go
ahead. No, I would say the problem exists, right? It needs to be improved, and it also doesn't mean that the site's gonna stay as is regardless of what
Well,
moves
and
forward.
that's the interest, I mean, this is at least a known entity, and we can mitigate the problems that we know already exist and try to minimize any further impact, right? I think I worry a lot about, if it's not this, what is it, and what traffic implications does that have? I mean, who knows, right? Maybe none. Maybe it's something that has a lot more in and out traffic than a residential, right? Where people kind of come and go a couple times a day. I don't, there's a lot to think about with that.
I mean, yeah, that's why, part of why I asked the question about the footprints, right? You're looking at almost 40,000 square feet on the ground level. I tend to agree, the retail market probably is not there for 40,000 square feet of space, even if I would prefer to see business here at this site. I feel uniquely confident in saying that the demand of the market isn't there for that.
To Chair Phillips' point, the alternatives that would be allowed under a general business district, the thought, even beyond retail, would be fairly staggering with respect to traffic as opposed to, a community of majority 1 and 2 bedroom apartment homes. So we're here to help. We need to be part of the solution, but I think, it's really important to understand what the alternatives analysis might look like. You've seen something like that happen, with Amazon down the street. Not that Amazon's going on 3 3/4 acres, but it's sort of indicative of what could potentially happen
Yeah, it could be
instead of
self-storage.
controlling it.
Yeah, there's a lot that could happen there.
Any other questions for now?
Any more time with them?
Yeah.
So am I hearing that we're going to collect public input and perhaps put together some ideas for a framework for what a development agreement would look like, and then come back to you with that?
That feels like a critical path. to me, right?
Absolutely.
You mentioned forward together, right? That's beyond just the 5 of us here. I think that's a critical point.
Okay.
We are fully committed to sitting with staff and walking through what a development agreement looks like. We will start with our latest LIP in Wilmington and use that as a framework. The town manager's done one in Sudbury, so we've got 2 good ones to start with. I'm sure there's other ideas potentially out there, and we'll go from there.
Traffic. All right.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time.
Coming in.
I'm going to unplug.
All right, we're going to move on to item D, which is to sign the memorandum of understanding between the Joseph and...
Is there any commentary allowed at this meeting about that?
Not at this time, no. It's public comment, and then we're going to facilitate public. Okay. To sign the memorandum of understanding between the Joseph and Herman Youth Center Board and the town of North Andover.
So I do see Rick Green out in the audience.
Yes.
We have been working on this agreement. It probably feels like maybe since they signed the first
A long
one
time.
back in 1999. But we have come to what I think is a great agreement that establishes the continued formal partnership between the town and the youth center, lays out the different responsibilities of the different parties, and continues to have very strong collaboration between us as well. I don't know if you want to see if Rick has anything extra. The only thing that I think that's a little bit different from maybe what you've seen in the past is that we do get a lot into an explanation of the naming rights, because you have a policy and we want to make sure that everything stayed in line with your policy, 1, and 2, we wanted to make sure that they stayed as the body that would take in donations and then bringing them forward. And so we didn't want that to get kind of commingled, and so we worked on getting appropriate and strong language around that as well. We do have a 10-year term on this one, so that's exciting. So we'll be back looking at it again instead of waiting the 26 years. But I do appreciate the Herman Youth Center group and their hard work on this. You can tell they put a lot of thought into every draft that they sent over.
I definitely appreciate everyone's hard work on this. Rick, if you would like to come up and say something, we'd be happy to hear it. You came all the way here and waited. We're happy to hear it.
For the record, Rick Green, 357 Ray Street, representing the Joseph N. Herman Youth Center Board. As the town manager said, we work together collaboratively to develop this agreement. It establishes a working relationship between the town and the youth center. Our original agreement was more set up when the actual youth center building was constructed. Now we're in a totally different situation now. That agreement, for whatever reason, was established for 25 years. I'm not sure why that document was so, the tenure of it was so long. But now we're into more reasonable 10-year agreement. Each of the parties has the right to terminate or renegotiate with a 90-day notice. So I think we're in a better situation, and well, at least now the board will be able to revisit that more frequently, and if any changes need to be made. And I want to thank Madam Chair Phillips for working with us in terms of the naming rights. We did have some issues with that, but I think we resolved that to the satisfaction of both the board and the town. So
Credit to all of you for putting heads together to make it happen.
I've been working on this since October, and I'm happy to hopefully see this finally finished.
All right, I will take a motion.
Move the select board to sign the memorandum of understanding between the Joseph N. Herman Youth Center Board and the town of North Andover.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate everyone's
you.
work. Item F is to approve the amendment to the contract with Wheel Breeder in, I'm gonna,
I think we're missing the Booster Club race.
oh, I
Yep,
keep
and they-
skipping things,
Yep,
sorry.
it's okay.
All right, item E, the request of the North Andover Booster Club to use Johnson Street, Abbott Street, Marble Ridge, Salem, Milk, Andover, and Osgood for the 4th of July road race on July 4th from 6:30 to 10:30 a.m.
I did tell them that they did not need to attend
No,
tonight.
okay, so it's the standard thing they've done the
Standard
last
thing,
many
yeah.
years.
The racing doesn't start at 6:30, so they start the
No.
course, right?
Thank goodness. All right, so I'll take a motion.
I'll move approval.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, back in line. So our next item is to approve the amendment to the contract with Wheel Breeder North Andover, Inc. So,
Thank you. So our DPW director is here as well and can probably speak much more eloquently on this than I can. This is actually a contract that started back around the 2003 period and has had subsequent 3-year approvals every year to get us to now. There was some discussion about whether or not we actually put this on the agenda, and we could find times when it was voted on and times when it wasn't, so we decided we'd err on the side of caution and bring it before you. But basically, it is a 3-year amendment, the 5th amendment, to our contract with Wheel Breeder, which is where we dump our trash, so it's our tipping fee. And I don't, look at that, he gave me thumbs up, I got it, so.
Does it change anything from our current operations?
Operationally, no.
Change anything from our costs?
It does change things from our costs.
How dramatically?
All right, hold on, I just pulled it up.
Currently,
we're
we're at 91 ton?
Yes.
$91 a ton?
Okay.
at
And then it looks
94
like we'll
right
go up to
now.
94, and we're going to
Don't
98.
go to 94, go to 90, sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're at 94.
Oh, he's
We're
coming,
about at
he's
90.
coming.
You think I could read this better? Sorry.
And we appreciate, he did a great job negotiating this, as we've seen trash fees. As you know, the 3 of us have been on a group that's been discussing trash for the last year with everybody whose contracts are coming up, and it has been difficult, and we've seen a lot of price increases. So Jim's did a great job. Good, Jim.
Thank you. Jim Stanford, Public Works Director.
Thanks, Jim.
Essentially, so we have a base rate of $98 per ton. On top of that, they include a environmental fee, and that's $2.75. And this is the first year. It'll go up every year. It's similar to what has happened in the past. One of the newer items that really was never a factor in 2006 and throughout was the fuel surcharge. Essentially, they put a charge on based on what the index is for diesel fuel. Right now, I believe it is $5.35. So essentially, those 3 items would make up what our per ton charge is. Ideally, the fuel surcharge will go down.
I was going to say, do those fees
Ideally,
ever go down?
it's very high right now. It is very high. I think over the past few years, we're paying more like around $3. So it's extremely high right now. And there's really no way around it.
In your history, has it ever gone down?
I always relate it to the price of asphalt. Essentially, it's a petroleum product.
Just don't want anybody to get their hopes up.
Yeah, no, again, it's variable. They check it every month. So we get a fuel charge every month on that. We did try, one of the things in negotiating with them, they actually wanted a variable rate on the trash based on the CPI. And so fortunately, and I think we benefit by the fact that we're a host community. They have a host community agreement. They give us hundreds of thousands of dollars a year for the Board of Health, I think. And the other benefit that we have is because they're in town, we're able to collect the trash and get it to the site. Because the way we do it, unlike a lot of other communities, our trash trucks actually bring it to the site, dump it, then go back on their routes. The closest facility beyond that is in Haverhill, the old Covanta site, another waste energy, but that's 3 to 5 miles away. And it would really kill our ability to get the routes done. And I'll probably mention, again, this is a 3-year. There's a lot of changes happening with our overall contracts. We're in a unique situation whereby we have separate contractors for recycling disposal, hauling, this trash where we dispose of. So and the industry has changed significantly over the years. So most of those contracts are coming due. So we'll be having lots of discussions about trash and recycling over the next year, for sure. But this is one part of it. I do think we benefit from them being the host community, and I'd recommend this extension.
Thank you.
How does our recycling tie into, don't we get a benefit for recycling?
We have the same, again, there's a host agreement with Thompson Brothers.
Yeah.
Essentially, they operate a private transfer station that residents can use.
Okay.
And we also, for the recycling, as part of their site plan approval, they have to pick up our recycling for free.
Right. Which is separate from this, I guess.
It's separate, they're all separate.
separate,
It's,
okay.
You really need a spreadsheet to track.
We have the most
I love a spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Family tree kind of thing.
It is.
I know, except what?
It's unique, we have benefited over the years
Thank you for
of,
that.
again, so, it's, we're fortunate in a lot of ways. We've been very fortunate over the years, keeping costs down. I think with the changes in the industries, lack of disposal sites, it's just gonna get harder and more expensive, as well as environmental regulations. It's just.
There's really nowhere to bring it.
Unfortunately, there's not. I mean, we're looking at a lot of different, and I think we'll have options in the future, but as far as where to dispose of, we're very fortunate to have this in
To
town.
have it in town.
So annually, the environmental fee is going to increase 18%. The tipping fee is going to increase 4%. I'll ask Laura's question, can we afford this contract?
I was going to do the same thing.
So Jim has done a very good job of increasing the trash budget to keep up with what we're seeing in contracts.
So it's not like a.
Yes.
giant-
What I will say, though, is that this does become difficult, right? Because it's one of those things, and that's why you see so many communities that have implemented additional fees on their tax bills for trash, because it is a constant struggle. Over the next year, we are going to have to reevaluate our trash program generally due to not only the cost, but also the vermin that we're seeing in the downtown area. And so, and additionally, the fact that all of the trash companies are trying to get new trucks and want us to go to barrels, right? So we've got kind of all of these things coming up. So there may be ways for us to better monitor our trash usage and keep costs lower that way. But that's something we're going to have to talk about over the next year.
We have rat problems downtown?
I was trying to say vermin as if that was a nicer way to put it, but yes, we have seen, due to trash being just placed out in barrels, without barrels, or in bags that are not compliant, and because we do not have any regulations at all about how trash is placed out, we have seen an increased amount of vermin in the downtown area.
Which goes back to a town meeting and preventative maintenance, right?
Because
We
keep
gotta
your trash
prevent-
closed.
They
To
keep it closed,
Yeah.
right? Keep it closed and
Right.
preventative.
Okay.
And then we don't have to
That's
use
where I was
the
gonna
rat
go.
poison.
As the acting Board of Health Director, Andrew can tell you this has been a major problem for him over the last.
So there's no requirement to put in a barrel?
No.
But- So there's bags
Okay.
and,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
So it's.
And never mind
problematic.
closed barrels, like, it's
Yeah.
just, yeah.
But that would in turn support what we just passed at town meeting,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
So we do need to take a good look
Yeah.
at trash over the next year.
One more cost question. The last sentence in section 2, under costs, right? WNA shall be entitled to additional payment from the town for increased operating costs, which seems to be a whole kind of a grab bag that's open-ended there. What could that possibly be, and what kind of exposure does it present to us?
It's happened in the past with the fuel surcharge. I mean, essentially, they had to implement it, I think it was just before COVID, or around COVID. Environmental. If the town came in and said, there's a new requirement, or the state implemented a requirement that nobody is aware of right now, that they have to do X, Y, and Z.
Okay.
That's something. I don't think, there's no way to limit 100%. If we were, and believe me, I've had these discussions with them, because from an operational standpoint, I'd love to just have a lump sum. And this is about as close to a lump sum as you can get per ton. But if they were to do that on a 3-year contract, they're gonna hedge their bets, and instead of paying, $110 a ton, we'll be paying $130.
Yeah, you'll be up to
Again, we are limited in our choices just because of the geography and where how we pick up the trash now. Now, maybe in the future, we may have other options, but we'll have to have those discussions.
And I've read the full agreement. I assume there are mechanisms elsewhere in the agreement that help kind of bracket that for us at least a little bit, right? So it's not just completely open-ended.
Lower the
and-
risk.
Yeah.
I mean, the hard thing for us is that we have the host community agreement, which picks up the recycling for free, which is a huge benefit. But when we're doing a trash contract for tipping, it's actually not, because they really want the recyclables.
You want everything.
And so we don't have as much leverage in our trash as we typically would.
Is the 90 a ton comparable to?
One of the problems in comparing is a lot of communities, I'll just point to Andover, they negotiate or they bid and they have one contractor for everything, including essentially the contractor that they have, who we have for our trash pickup coincidentally, they own the material. So essentially, the town doesn't get involved into where it's disposed of. So we're unique because we have the facility in town. We have separate subcontractors essentially picking it up. We could, I think in the future, sure, we'll look at, is there an option, whereby the company we hire owns the material? I don't think that's beneficial right now for us, just because of the situation. I would have liked a few more years on our existing contracts because they have been very favorable. But I think this is probably the best that we're gonna get at this point. And the company, and believe me, they've been very responsive. Wind Waste, they actually do a lot with us, with the Mercury, and they have other initiatives where, they want to do with the town and work with the town. And like I said, the Board of Health, what they provide them is, from a host community agreement, is great. And, we're hoping that there'll be other options, possibly with municipal pickup. That Wind Waste, they do have private customers. Right now, they do not have commercial or municipal. They do have commercial. In the future, they may look to actually do that. Plus, they're opening recycling. So, we want more competition, and, but again, it's not, we have a very unique situation. I wouldn't say it's perfect by any means.
And if we were to go to buckets or something in the future and that become, because limit like big ticket, like bigger items, right? And that starts to help, right? At the cost.
Yeah, I
With
think
the
we're gonna
cost.
have to.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have those discussions. We've already had some preliminary discussions with our existing contractors. Essentially, they pick up everything that's set out curbside.
They really are great.
It is great, but we, it's expensive.
It's a, right.
Would you go to, well, a fee base or something.
I
for
would
the
never
big
recommend
items.
that. I wouldn't, but again, that's something we can
Okay.
talk about. I think it's more on the automated pickup.
Okay.
Because what's happening is none of the big companies actually have rear loaders anymore, just because of injuries, and it's just not as efficient. And so when you go, similar to what we initially did with the recycling, where everybody gets an automated toter, essentially you have less personnel injuries, it's more efficient, but it's a de facto, it limits the amount. Now, we're looking at other communities, Andover and other communities who don't have pay-as-you-throw, but potentially buy additional barrels. So there's there's an awful lot of directions we can go, but I think one thing's for sure, we have to move towards an automated pickup, or else we'll really limit the amount of contractors that could bid on our work. Next August, I believe. Oh, one of them's August, again, I'll get the spreadsheet, because there is an awful lot. We do have to start, we've already had these preliminary discussions, but it is definitely changing, and, aside from cost.
Any other questions? If not, I'll take a motion.
I'll move that the select board approve the amendment to the contract with Wheelabrator North Andover, Inc.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Jim.
Our next item is the reappointments to boards and committees. The select board reappointments, I'll hand over to our select board appointment subcommittee.
So Dave and I have met with, I don't know, 90%, 95% of everybody. We have a few more to wrap up.
Some stragglers.
Yeah, some stragglers that we haven't been able to pin down yet. But I will say it was a great process to go through. This is the first time that I've done it and the feedback that we were able to get, and just to see people that have served on committees for a long time and like what they have to say and what's working, what's not. So I think we were able to take a lot of some good feedback.
It's a lot of time, but really rewarding
Yeah.
and informative. Yeah.
And it's great to see that all the volunteers and how much they really enjoy giving back to the community and serving. So
It's amazing how many committee members have been on, a committee for more than 30 years, some of them more than 40 years.
Yeah.
So remarkable, and so wonderful.
As always, we
Yeah,
appreciate
right.
that.
and how much they care
There's
about the town, right? And whatever committee that they're serving on.
Yeah.
So
Okay. With that, I will take a motion.
I'll move the select board approve the reappointments and dates of term expiration for the boards and committee members as listed in our packet.
I have a motion
Second, thank you.
and a second. Any further discussion?
Thank you to all who served.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And item 2 is the confirmation of the town manager reappointments.
Yes, I'm still working through some of mine, but tonight you do have the Board of Assessors, which is Kristen Caldwell, and 2 members of the Board of Health.
Okay.
Dr. Scanlon and Jennifer, whose names I always get wrong.
I will take a motion.
I'll move the select board to confirm the town manager reappointments as listed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And item H is the appointment of our special town council through 6/30/27. That would be KP Law, same as
Yep, we use them for
usual.
specialized issues.
Okay,
And then Norris Murray is Labor Council.
great. So, and we can take them both probably.
Okay.
I'll take a motion.
I'll move the select board appoint KP Law as well as Norris, Murray, and Peliquin as special municipal councils through June 30th, 2027.
I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any further discussion?
Do you ever get, KP Law does so many for so many is legal counsel for so many communities. Is there ever a conflict?
Sometimes, yes.
And then what do we do then?
So sometimes we can waive the conflict. So I bring it before you and say that, we're negotiating. It's come up, so like for instance, when we were talking about sewer with North Reading, right? they also represent North Reading, so they wouldn't be able to represent both of us, that kind of thing. Unless we waive the conflict. So sometimes we waive the conflict, and then sometimes we'll say that we're not going to use them, we'll go to someone else.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. And we're on to our consent items. We are going to accept a donation in the amount of $1,000 from Edgewood to the Youth Center, donations in the amount of $450 to the Festival Committee for fireworks.
$470.
Oh, 470?
That's what mine says.
470 in
It
the
says
agenda, 450.
450 in there.
Oh.
So it's 470?
Yes.
Well, it's better to, okay. All right, 470 to the Festival Committee for the fireworks. Accept a donation in the amount of $25 from TLC Apparel to the Youth Center for the summer shows on the Common. A donation in the amount of $30 from Ann Erickson to the library. A donation in the amount of $4,000 from the Friends of the Library to the library. And a donation in the amount of $7,565 from the Board of Trustees of the Stevens Memorial Library to the library. I will take a motion.
Move that the select board accept all consent items.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Who's going to say it? With our gratitude and thanks. Please write it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. And approval of minutes, the open session minutes of June 1st, 2026. Has everybody had a chance to take a peek? Okay, I'll take a motion. One more.
Madam Chair, will the select board approve the open session minutes of June 1st, 2026 as presented?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are going to move on to select board updates, but one of our colleagues is under the weather tonight, so we're going to postpone our board reorganization to our next meeting so that she can be in attendance. Are there any other select board updates?
Congrats to all high school graduates.
We're free. No.
And their parents. And their parents.
It was a whirlwind week. Congratulations, all of them.
And thanks to the SOS committee that somehow managed to pull off an overnight party and all the other cool things that have happened. So, okay. Anyone else? Okay. Town managers report.
The only thing we have right now is that the elevator at Town Hall is broken, so we have let employees know that if someone comes in who does need to get to the second floor, we will come down to meet them, and it will be broken for the next week. Also, the stairwell is really hot, so it wouldn't surprise me if you didn't want to come up, but it is going to be broken for the next week.
Okay. Thank you. Our next meeting is Monday, July 20th, 2026, and I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That was a long one.